Start. Good morning, student. I hope everyone is fine. Okay, today we'll continue with the experiment on photosynthesis. Last class we had done 2 experiments. So today we'll do another experiment, that is chlorophyll is required during photosynthesis. Here is the setup of the experiment. Here we take a variegated plant. Variegated leaf is a leaf which has red, yellow patches on them other than the green. This red color is due to the presence of chromoplast, which has pigments which impart color to the part of the plant. That means there is no chlorophyll in this variegated portion. As you see the equation which we have done last time, chlorophyll is required, carbon dioxide and water also required. Water they get from the soil through the root hairs, and chlorophyll is present itself in the leaf, and carbon dioxide is obtained from the atmosphere. Through the stomata, it enters into the leaves. Now set up the experimental setup. Like first is your aim, requirements. Requirements will be a well-watered variegated plant, then all the items required for starch test which we did last time. Now the procedure. Take a variegated leaf, plant with variegated leaf, and keep it in the dark room for 24 hours. We keep the plant in dark room for 24 hours to remove the starch or destarch the leaf. Next, in the dark room itself, we mark the variegated portion, and the experimental setup is exposed to the sunlight for about 5 hours. After that, we pluck the experimental leaf and perform starch tests. Just to recollect, first boil the leaf in water to kill the cells. Second step, boil the leaf in alcohol to remove the chlorophyll and the pigments. In that way, the whole leaf becomes light yellow or light brown. Then third step, immerse the leaf in cold water so it becomes soft. And the last and the final step, immerse the leaf in iodine solution. Iodine is used for testing the presence of starch. If starch is present, starch will turn blue-black with iodine solution. Now here, after starch test, the portion of the leaf which was variegated remains light brown, means it didn't manufacture food, because the reason is chlorophyll is absent. Now the outer portion, other than the variegated portion, it turns blue-black because the outer portion was green in color. It has chlorophyll, therefore it manufactures food. This experiment therefore demonstrates chlorophyll is required for photosynthesis. Okay, last class we had done an experiment on carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. There was a slight mistake due to slip of tongue. The mistake was, in the dark room, chlorophyll is not removed, but starch is removed from the leaf, and caustic potash, a soda lime, absorbs carbon dioxide, not water vapor. So here is the rectification of the mistake. Next experiment on photosynthesis is oxygen is produced during photosynthesis. Not required, it is produced. Yeah, most of the students make mistake by writing required. That means the whole experiment will go wrong. So be careful when you write the aim of the experiment. In this experiment, we don't need a dark room. The plant need not be kept in a dark room. No starch test. So looking at the diagram itself, you should be able to identify the aim of the experiment. So a beaker is taken with water. In it you put a hydrilla plant. Hydrilla plant is an aquatic plant. Or you can use sometime water weeds. Now cover the leaf with the funnel upside down, and now you take a test tube, fill with water right to the brim and invert it over the stem of the funnel. Initially, there was water right up to the top of the test tube. After several hours, you expose to sunlight. When you expose to sunlight, you'll notice some gas collecting on the top and the water level starts falling down. Now, what gas is this one? What is producing this gas? To test, remove the test tube, bring a glowing splinter, it will rekindle. Rekindle means burst into flame. That is the test for oxygen. So this gas collected on the top of the test tube is oxygen. Now, from where could have this oxygen come? It's from the plant inside the beaker. Control experiments here, we perform the similar experiment but without plant. If it is done without plant, you don't find any gas collecting on the top of the test tube. That means oxygen has come from the plant and it is as a result of photosynthesis. In this experiment, we add a pinch of sodium bicarbonate because the plant gets its carbon dioxide from the carbon dioxide dissolved in the water. And since carbon dioxide is not highly soluble in water, so for the experiment to take place, it takes some more time. So if we add, the reason for adding sodium bicarbonate, a pinch means small amount. It decomposes and produces carbon dioxide in the water. So it helps to increase the rate of photosynthesis. So these are the two experiments on photosynthesis. Altogether, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 experiments. And normally in biology, the questions are short questions, but sometimes here they ask you to describe the experiment. So be ready, you go through the notes. I've given you everything explained there. Now, a few questions on this experiment. Name the physiological process being studied in this experiment. The physiological process being studied. As you know, by now you should know, the physiological process is photosynthesis. Explain the process means you have to define what is photosynthesis. You'll find in the textbook, you'll find in the notes. When you prepare for ICSE, first you prepare thoroughly through the notes, then you can go through the textbook. What is the aim of the experiment, of this experiment? If you see a beaker with aquatic plant, that is definitely oxygen is produced during photosynthesis. Now, the next question that follows, give a well-balanced equation to represent the process. It is here, and in biology, we have only one chemical equation, and that is for photosynthesis. No other equations are there in biology. Now, importance of photosynthesis. It provides food for the animals. Plants are only capable of manufacturing food. Animals cannot prepare their own food because of absence of chlorophyll. In fact, in the cells of animal, water is there. Carbon dioxide is due to respiration is produced in the cell itself, and our cells also exposed to sunlight, but because of the absence of chlorophyll, we cannot manufacture food. So animals directly or indirectly depend on plants for their food. Secondly, a very important, it helps to maintain the percentage of oxygen in the atmosphere more or less constant. Look here, the oxygen of the atmosphere is constantly removed by animals for respiration. Therefore, the percentage starts falling down. But see, at the same time, when photosynthesis takes place, oxygen is produced. Therefore, it helps to maintain the percentage more or less constant. Adaptation of plants for photosynthesis. Leaves have large surface area. That means more stomata, more chlorophyll, so maximum photosynthesis can take place. Leaves are exposed to the sunlight equally. Numerous stomata are present, which allows rapid exchange of gases. And finally, the presence of chloroplast containing chlorophyll. Okay, students, we'll meet again in the next class. Ako po, bidya ni soalan. देखा या
ठीक है सर
बोलेको सुन्छ
बोलेको त तपाईँको
या